Hello and welcome to the Just Ask podcast. I'm your host, Ben, and this is episode number 13. We're joined by Alec Guests, a first-class father with a vision to change the narrative of fatherhood and family life. Alec is achieving this through his number one rated podcast, First Class Fatherhood. Definitely check it out. Welcome, Alec. I'm excited to chat with you.
Ben, it's an honor to be on your show here. Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say and kind of dive into your journey. I know that you started in March 2018, I believe.
Yeah, I'm 1 year into the process here.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Do you remember the first time that you hit the record button and what that was like?
Yeah, I had been trying to. I have 4 children, and my 2 older boys were interested in trying to get something started on YouTube. That they're fascinated with YouTube and watching it, and they wanted to try to start a channel. So I was trying to explain to them that it takes a little bit more than just turning on the phone and fooling around. So I was going to try to show them that you got to put a little work into it. And as I was trying to research how to do it myself, that's when I noticed that I didn't know what podcasting was. I had heard the word, but I wasn't familiar with it. I saw it was just audio only. So I said, well, this got to be a little simpler. I said, well, let me try to get something going on my own here and get some experience, and then I can teach them how to do something like that. And that's really what the genesis of it all was.
That's amazing. And when you first started out, did you have any of those nervous jitters before you went, or was it just like entirely a learning process and you were just kind of confident the whole way through?
Yeah, you know what it is? I'm pretty passionate about the message that I'm sharing. And one of the things that, I went to the library and read a few books about podcasting, and everything pointed to just sticking to something that you're very familiar with and that you're passionate about. And the message of fatherhood and just the way it's being portrayed in the movies, on TV, in the media, I think does fatherhood an injustice. So I drive Uber part-time on the weekends, and I listen to a lot of the young men have this negative outlook on what fatherhood and family life is all about. And I get sick and tired of hearing that. And I just wanted to try to do something whatever I could to really change the narrative.
Yeah, and I think that's amazing that like how you're going about that. Like you are about 180 some odd episodes in a
Yeah, I'm actually tomorrow will be 176.
176.
Yeah,
That's incredible, and I think it's so cool the way that you've got like all of your guests are incredible, and they're incredible. Either like you've got Navy SEALs that have come on, NFL players, Hall of Famers, entrepreneurs, actors. You've got this wide range of guests that have come on your show, and they all share that same passion for fatherhood. So in your journey over the last year, has it like kind of affirmed your like that's not necessarily like what's being portrayed in pop culture isn't necessarily what you're finding and talking to your guests?
Yeah, 100%, Ben. That is what I'm finding. And I think, I've reached out to these guys, and they've been overwhelmingly more than happy to come on the show and share their experience because they feel the same way, most of them. And I think now, obviously, I don't have a name, so nobody knows who I am. In my opinion, doesn't really hold much water. But when you have guys on, like you said, I've had Super Bowl MVPs, SEAL Team 6 operators. When you have these guys on that have accomplished so much in their life, and there are things that, are great achievements, yet they testify that the greatest accomplishment they've had and the most fulfilling that they've experienced in their life is through fatherhood and becoming a dad. I think that speaks volumes about, it gives a great testimony to what fatherhood is actually all about.
That's amazing to just see that come together and to just witness. Like I do not have any children yet. One day I'd love to. I'm actually getting married in a month. So that is hopefully in my future eventually. But it's just been really enjoyable to listen once I got connected with you through Facebook. I'm not sure exactly how that happened, but just getting connected with you and just kind of following along and hearing the different messages from all of your guests. It's been really cool and also empowering to hear the different stories about what fatherhood means to all of these people.
Yeah, and congratulations on the upcoming marriage. And I think, that's another thing that has, there's a high attrition rate for marriages. A lot of marriages aren't lasting. And I think a lot of that is because people are going into it with this false sense of what marriage is. And every time we see on TV a single guy, the single guy is always living it up. He's sleeping around. Life is good. He's enjoying himself. He's traveling. But whenever we see a family guy on TV, he's always got his head down. Life's kicking him in the ass. He's never getting laid, and life sucks. And that's just, it gives guys already going into a marriage and about to have a family think, what am I getting myself into? Oh, and they make it seem like that. And then they don't realize, because they aren't told, that it's going to be the greatest journey that you're about to take in your entire life. And your whole philosophy is about to get shifted in the most positive way you never could have imagined.
And that's amazing, Alec. That's the best advice that I've received so far, I think.
Yeah, but and it's true, and that's why I said too. Like, listening to me, okay, I'm just a guy here that started a podcast. But when you listen to guys, and people want to joke about fatherhood and family life, but then you can point to a guy that's been a SEAL Team 6 guy killed Osama bin Laden, a guy that's held the Super Bowl MVP title. I mean, you listen to these guys, and they're telling you the exact same thing. You're not going to really be making fun of those guys. You're going to believe what they're telling you because you trust them a little bit more.
Definitely. And what's that like? When you set out last March, did you imagine yourself interviewing all of these incredible people?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
I'm a faith-based person, and I strongly believe that whatsoever you ask for in prayer, believe you have received it, and it will be yours. And I never doubted that for a second. I've made the act of faith quite a long time ago in my own journey here, and I never doubted for a second that I'd be interviewing these guys. Just because I believed in what I'm saying, and I think the message is important. So I look at it as, why wouldn't they want to come on the show and talk about it?
That's awesome. I love that. Would you say that you've become comfortable in speaking to all of these people, or comfortable hitting that record button and putting your message out there?
Yeah, 100%. I think the problem usually comes with people that don't believe in what they're saying. I think when you're trying to make something up and you're trying to be somebody that you're not, I think that's where the trouble comes into with a lot of this stuff. I think that if you're speaking from your heart and you're talking about something that you truly believe in and you're not ashamed of it, then I don't see why there would be an issue of hitting the record button and speaking your mind.
Definitely. Can you speak to the importance of storytelling in your podcast?
Well, for me, the storytelling is just taking you on the journey. Maybe what life was like before you had kids, and then the life, how it changed, how your perspective has changed on life once you became a father, and then just take it through that journey, depending on how old the particular guests' children are, how their discipline style is, how they handle dating. Especially my daughter's only 4 years old. And I'm already dreading that scene where she's going to, that day where she hits the dating scene. So hopefully some of these Navy SEALs that I've got in my phone book here can help me out when that time comes. But, it's just taking them on the journey. The story. Here's the thing about fatherhood. There's billions of us on the planet, but none of us have the exact same experience. And until you go through it, you don't know what it's like. It's not something that can be explained. It's an experience that needs to be had. So, I mean, that's the unique part about it. And it's going to take you in places and have you doing things that you never imagined.
I love that. And can you speak to the importance of preparation and research in your different interviews that you've done?
Yeah, I'm still learning. Listen, I'm very green at podcasting here, and I got a long way to go as far as learning the craft. I've learned a lot of lessons so far, and the preparation is definitely one of them. I've interviewed guests before where I missed some great talking points and subjects that I could have brought up, only to find out later that it was possible. And I definitely have gotten a little bit better as far as my researching of each guest, but it's crucial when you're doing something like this.
Love it. Do you have any tips for others that maybe are trying to start their own podcast?
Yeah, just have them, speak from the heart. I think, like I said before, I just think that if you try to come up with something and force yourself into being something that you're not, you're going to face a lot of difficulty. If you just have something that you're very passionate about, you can't allow what other people think of it to ever stop you from doing what you believe in. I think that maybe stops a lot of people. They're afraid of that pushback, or they're afraid of listen, Twitter is a brutal place. I've learned that the hard way. I built up a Twitter following over there. And I've gotten hammered over there especially I try to avoid politics. I mean, I'm a faith-based person. Like I said, I try to avoid politics and religion on the show, because no matter what faith you are and what side of the aisle you're on, as a dad, you're having the exact same experience. You still want your child to be healthy, happy, successful, and you don't want them to be hurt or scared or fearful. So we all have those in common, no matter where you come from. So, but people aren't going to like, some people aren't going to like what you're doing, and that's just a part of life. So if you can just learn to have a thick skin and not be afraid of what other people think, I don't think you'll have any problem doing something like this.
That's awesome. And I've got a lot of 25 to 40 something viewers and listeners. Do you have any that are maybe like they're just getting married? I'm in that stage right now where I'm just getting married and it seems like everybody's kind of popping up around me. Do you have any like tips or advice for individuals that are stepping into that new world of marriage and shortly soon after potentially fatherhood?
Yeah, I would say, well, I'm married for 14 years now, and listen, there's ups and downs to it. My best suggestion would be there's a program or a system or a book. It's called the 5 Love Languages, and I highly recommend that everybody that's about to get married that they do that with their spouse. It's really eye-opening, and it gives you a chance to see how your spouse gives love and receives love, and you learn a little bit more about each other that way. It's a quick hitter. It's just a few questions to answer, and it really makes a world of difference in a relationship. But it's just honesty, communication, man. I mean, without that, I don't think any relationship can thrive. And it's just trusting in your partner and, and get ready to have, the best time of your life together. I mean, that's really it.
I love it. Love it. What are you excited about right now? What are you looking forward to?
I'm hoping to scale this thing up. That's what I'm trying to focus on right now. I'm trying to, like I said, I'm new to all this. I never had any social media accounts until March of last year. So I'm learning how to become, more marketable and branding, first class fatherhood. And, I got a couple of books that I'm working on, a YouTube channel that I'm trying, and I'm still continuing to, knock out 5 episodes a week here. So I'm trying to, keep up, with all of that. So, it's definitely, I got a lot of plans for it. I just got to do a better job of myself of, goal setting and then
Right.
figuring out which way I want to take it.
Awesome. And do you have like a handful of interviews? Like you've got you said 176, I believe it was. If you had to list off 3 for people, like if they're just finding out about you right now, what 3 would you say to go check out?
Well, I just put my top 5 up for most downloaded episodes from this year so far in 2019. My episode with Marcus Luttrell, the lone survivor, he came on with his wife, and I think that was a really great episode. It's been the top downloaded episode this year. And then number 2 was I was in Atlanta for Super Bowl Media Day, and I had the opportunity to interview Tom Brady, Julian Edelman, and Bill Belichick about fatherhood. That one's getting some good traction. Tony Hawk, he recently came on, the skateboarding legend.
Mm-hmm.
He was very well spoken about fatherhood. I mean, you could pretty much, just scroll through the archives, man. You're going to find somebody that you're interested in listening to. Ed Milet was a great one. He's a guy that went from being broke to being worth over $400 million. His journey was incredible, and his philosophy on fatherhood was outstanding. So, really, there's so many guys, each one of them offer a different aspect and a little bit of their own, philosophy on life. So, each one has a little bit of value that the other ones may be missing. You got sports. I just had Matt Roloff on. Mm-hmm. He's from the Little People, Big World. He had, he went through a public divorce. So he offered something, for single dads or maybe guys that are going through that right now. So there's definitely something for dads of all walks of life on there.
I love it. And one question that I've been asking the different guests that have come on is, do you have a morning routine? And if so, what is it?
Yeah, well, right now, the way my schedule is set up, I take my kids to school and then my wife goes to work. So right now I get my podcast stuff done in the mornings. Obviously, I have a little workout routine. I have a prayer meditation spot worked into that. Sometimes it changes from morning, but I always get it done in the morning. And then I knock out my podcasting stuff. And I do that just because I try to leave open once my kids come home from school and where I can be more present with family time and stuff like that. So it doesn't conflict, but it is difficult. That is hard. I think for all of us is just the balance of everything, trying to get it all in one day. But as long as I get my prayer in, my meditation in, my podcast in, my family in, always eat dinner with my family in the evenings, spend some quality time at night with the kids, and then they go to bed and then spend quality time with my wife. So I think those things, as long as I get them all in during the day, I think it's a good day.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Alec. And just before we go, do you have any parting words for the listeners?
No, just anybody out there that's just about, like you said, to hit the marriage scene, to hit the family scene, don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. It's not something that's to be afraid of. It's definitely something to look forward to. Despite what you've seen, or heard about it, it's going to be the greatest experience of your life.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Alec. Appreciate your time. This has been episode number 13 of the Just Ask Vodcast. We'll see you next time.